Assalamualaikum. So, welcome to day 20. And over the past few days, we've gone through different exercises, and uh, all of them slightly different. But some of them might have been thought-provoking, some of them might have been reflective, some of them might even have been emotional. But what do they all mean? Well, how can you use these random exercises as insight into what your mission actually is. So what this session is all about really is just to explain you what each of the exercises actually means, so you can start to interpret some of the findings for yourself. So what we're going to cover is just processing the exercises and what do they each of them mean. So what do each of the exercises mean? So as I've mentioned throughout, this program is a process. So I hope you feel this as well, that you can feel that each day you're getting closer and closer, you're inching closer to discovering your purpose. Now, so by now, because of some of the insights that you already had through knowing yourself and some of the stuff that we've done already, it might be clear. It might be okay. You know what? I know the data is saying I need to do this. It's very clear, or you've at least got a good idea in terms of because the themes that are repeating, and is meaningful for you. For others, you might have just a broad idea. Okay, I know the sort of direction, but I can't. It's not 100% clear yet. That's not a problem at all. We're getting there, and by the end, like I said, you will have that clarity. So the exercises, they were designed to test different things. What they also do is to tie in with all the data we now know about our overall purpose, which is to serve, and what we now know about ourselves, what we're good at, etc. And it ties that in with the way that we want our lives to go and the causes that we feel drawn to. Rumi once said, "Let yourself be silently drawn to what you love. It will not lead you astray." So you can see that these exercises are almost we're working from inside out as opposed to external stimulus. It's almost like, okay, what is it leading you to? So today's session is just centered around giving you some clarity on what those exercises meant, or what they were looking for in particular, so you can begin to interpret your mission and connect some of these dots. Remember, we're looking for patterns, because if there's repetition, and if there's multiple repetition, so it's ongoing, you see it again and again and again, that means that it's statistically significant to what your overall purpose is. So after this session today, we're going to then start going into the third framework, which then crystallizes that mission further and how do you then actualize it. So, and we'll start to refine and chip away at this block of solid data that you've got now. Make sure that you use all the worksheets wisely. In the meantime, remember, a key aspect of this process is not to overthink. Don't worry about how it will happen, how can you make money from it. All of that stuff we'll work out later, and I promise we will work it out. Just work with me, and we're getting there slowly but surely. Right now, you just need to be thinking about what you're filtering out, and your intuition is telling you about all of this. What is the clear message here? You should not have missed out any of the exercises. If you have, then do not proceed. Go back to whatever day you've missed out, etc., and do them first. And I mean also the exercises that come with it. So you might have think, okay, I've heard the exercise, but then you haven't done the action or wrote it down. You need to go back and do it. But if you're good to go, then let's get into it, inshallah. So 100 million tax free. So this one is quite a straightforward one. One of the biggest blockers that we have is money and time. That's why most of us don't do the things that we want to do. So what this exercise does essentially is just remove those restrictions and boundaries that we've had to place on ourselves, and it asks ourselves the question that if we truly had unlimited choice, where does the heart go towards in terms of being productive and useful? Remember what I said right at the start. The fitra, it has a desire to serve. It wants to do good. It wants to do good work. So when the excuses are out the window, what are you drawn to? This also ensures that you've gotten all your desires out of the way first, as that's another short-term goal that gets empty very fast. That's why I said for the first 6 months to a year, you buy all the cars that you want, you go on all the holidays that you want, you give all the charity you want, you give the family what they need, etc., etc. So we've got that out of the way. Now you're just okay. I just want to do good in the world. What do you do? So that's that one. The next one, the tombstone test. So your gravestone is the only thing left of you for people to remember you by. So first of all, this prods you in terms of it just reminds you a little bit of death, first of all, and how short life actually is. Secondly, what it actually represents is your top three values that sort of define you. Because when you think about your tombstone, you think, and how people will remember you. There's only three words that someone can use to remember you. That makes you think, oh my God, that's not enough. I'm worth more than that, etc. So it's obviously three is a ridiculously small amount to represent one person, especially because people are very varied and sophisticated, etc. So that's why, but we've gone with three for a reason, because the ones that you choose are all very, very important, and they're key to who you are, what you represent, and all about. So scarcity is good because it forces you to make a decision, and so these core values are important because they mean something to you. So you have to make sure your mission incorporates some of these elements and values in it. Right. So that's what the tombstone test kind of shows. How on fire are you? So again, this one, another straightforward one. So obviously fire represents energy, desire, heat, motivation, fulfilling your potential. Remember lighting that spark. So how alive in this context, or how hot does your current job make you? If it's not anywhere near this 1500 centigrade white hot, that means you're not fully activating your highest self in doing what you do. We need to get to at least 1300 plus. That's where we need to get to, roughly. And so what the second part forces you to do is think of the one thing in the world that you would be truly good, passionate about and good at above all else. So the first part of it was, okay, what's your current role? What heat? How do you define it? What color? But then the second part was, okay, what is 1500 degrees for you? Or what's dazzling white hot for you? And so when you start thinking about that, you think, actually, again, it pinpoints you closer towards the thing that will potentially activate you. So the next one. So the pearly gaze. So this one centers on your route to Jannah. So if there was something that you could give that absolutely guaranteed your slot in Jannah, would you give it? Well, first of all, of course you would. But then secondly, what is it most likely to be? And so this is all about, what does your giving look like? Because giving essentially is what service is all about. The more you give, the more you get, right? So this essentially gets you thinking of, what have you given that secured your place? So, and this doesn't have to be something literal or physical. It doesn't have to be, I gave someone food, or I gave someone a house or something. It could be, like I said, I gave someone their dignity back, or I gave someone justice, or it could be some values as well. So obviously I've given some examples. I gave orphan shelter, or money for children to be educated. So again, the fact that you gave something that secured your place. So the themes that you choose are of interest here. So that's what this one essentially is about. Next one, desert island decisions. So the reason for going with a desert island is because, let's say, it's a complete fresh start. On a desert island, the reset button is pressed, and so you end up defaulting to your natural, most comfortable roles. No one knows who you are here, so you have no identity or reputation to uphold. So you can actually be your true self. If you had a nickname in the real world, here you're completely, you can start again. Be whoever you want to be. Among strangers, obviously, you want to be of value quickly. So you naturally will go towards your strengths, as opposed to what you necessarily do right now. So this type of questioning, it makes you think, okay, what did you choose? What is how will you contribute actively to the society? And so then the second part of the question was, okay, imagine you went to the first island was like a luxury island, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10. But then imagine if you went to a 2, 3, or 4 out of 10. How would you handle it. And the reason for that again because life is not always perfect. Life is not always 8, 9, or 10. So one essentially represents Makkah, and one represents Medina. So if you're in Medina, how do you do it and stuff? But if you're in Makkah, in terms of the conditions are difficult, everything's a struggle. How would you, you how do things differ when the conditions are good versus when they're bad? So these two questions: how do you contribute actively? This suggests that this is what you're comfortable and at ease with, and again, what you default to. And then how do you nourish yourself is what do you do to re-energize and recover. So this gives you an idea of what activities give you energy and strength, which can help you go to your purpose. You don't want to be doing purposeful activity that actually is draining, because purpose shouldn't feel like that. It should feel that, oh my God, I'm in my element here. So that's where these questions come in. So next one, the world microphone. So again, what is your message to the world? So what is the message bubbling away inside you that you think is the most important that you can communicate via this medium? Whatever you choose, given the gravity of the honor to be able to speak and influence the entire world, but for a very short time, it means that what you wrote here is something that is very meaningful to you. You believe it to be of super importance, as you would not waste this opportunity on something that was trivial. Was it a reminder? Was it an impassioned plea? Was it dawah? So the answer to this, it will tell us a lot about where your true passion lies, or your true purpose lies. Next one, the time machine. So we'd all love a chance to use a time machine. So imagine you're seeing yourself at 110 years old. So this question is very significant. It's not what do they tell you, it's what do you want them to tell you. So you got a chance here to design the exact future life you wished you led. What does it look like? And again, you only got 30 seconds to speak to them. So it has to be something that, they don't tell you, your entire life story, but they tell us, oh, this is what you represented, or this is what you did, or this is what you achieved. So the second part is where you're able to go back to the past and tell the 7-year-old you that, you can influence them. So this gives you a chance to start again. Live the perfect life you always dreamed of without the pain of regret. So 30 seconds, as I mentioned, is a very short space of time. So you have to be concise and clear. So that's what this one does. So if you're, going back to the past and you had a chance to start again, what would you like to do without all the baggage of how, the world has, made you, or the decisions that you've made, especially given the wisdom that you've gained from the 110-year-old version of you. Next one, the superhero challenge. So as a child, we'd all love to be a superhero. So this is all to do with your strengths and what you'd love to do for others. Even if you put impossible things like flying, because flying, what does it represent? It essentially represents being carefree, having freedom. Or, imagine being able to cure people with one touch. That represents a desire to heal others. This is a good insight into what you really see as important and something that's within your capacity. So the second part is critical to this. Which superpower is it most likely to be? It's not, which superpower do you wish you had the most? No, it's of those 7 that you mentioned, which one is it most likely to be? It means that, you can do it. And the third part now actualizes it. So imagine you've got that superpower. What will you do? And so, you answering, what will I do? Okay, I could do this, I could do that. It gets you thinking. But then what's the best thing you can do? So then you start thinking, okay, Ihsan, if I had this thing in real life, this is the absolute best thing I can do with it. So, you can see all these questions, they're kind of attacking this purpose question from slightly different angles. And so we're trying to have this holistic view, looking at your default nature. What are the skills that you have? What's the thing that you most want? What's the thing that you are naturally good at, etc., etc. A decade and 30 seconds with a gun to your head. So there's 2 very important things here. First of all, there's the threat, and secondly, there's the scarcity and the pressure. So you have to commit for a whole decade. People hate committing, so that's why you have to put a gun to the head. So how was your answer to this? Did you struggle or did it come easy? So this also shows how much affinity you have with what your chosen career will be for the next decade. So again, all of these exercises should be giving you clarity. So with this one, in again, the reason for 30 seconds is that it doesn't give you time to overthink and it just, okay, right, I'm under pressure, I've got to come up with something. Again, often the first thing that you come to is the one that even if you think that's a bit random, like, no, let me think of something else. 30 seconds is not enough time to really, so it's, it's um, part of it. It's important, essentially, is what I'm saying. So what is your instrument? So again, these three things: identity, your income or importance, or an impact and influence. Which, yeah. So what instrument represents this for you? So as we mentioned, as Musa would be the staff, Messi would be football, Michael Jordan basketball. So this is obviously a bit of a drawing task. It doesn't matter whether you're a good artist or not. This instrument, which will allow you to hunt your contentment, which and perform those three aspects of your life. Um, Essentially, this is what do you want to become known for, right? Or what you want to be represented. You might not want to be known, but what will most come to represent you if there was one object that could represent you. So you may find this hard, but this is crucial because this represents the how, right? For example, if you want to be a writer, it could be a pen. If you want to start a water charity, it could be some taps or a water pump, or it could be like the example of the YouTube logo. If you want to be a YouTuber, so again, so this got you start. It makes you start thinking about, how did you actually, have this impact? And so when you think about an object, it gets you now a bit more granular. So now it's not just high purpose. It's more like, okay, but how did I actually do it? So next, what's the world that you want to see? So this one's quite straightforward. If you were world president for a day and you had the ability to change one thing about the world, what would it be and why? So this speaks to mission more than anything else. And it gets you thinking about the problems in the world that you're most passionate about, that you actually care about and you want to solve. So this is a great way to get clarity on your overall mission itself. And the final, so driving home. So this one might have made you cry. It actually did for me. So nothing is more powerful than a near-death experience. The power of a second chance, a chance to right the wrongs, a chance to fix all the regrets, seeing your parents, your spouse, or your children sobbing at your funeral uncontrollably, and then visualizing yourself going 6 feet underground, and then it's all gone dark. This is why we're told to remember death often, as is the destroyer of pleasures. It refocuses and gets us back on track. So that letter that you wrote, if done correctly, should be very poignant. It should be very emotional, powerful, full of crystal clarity that enough is enough, that you must now go and do X before it's too late. What was X? I did this exercise. I wrote a letter, and now I actually read it daily because it just gets me back on track. It reminds me, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So it's a message to remind me what I should be doing, and most importantly, also reminds me what I shouldn't be doing. Right? So you can too. What is the one thing that came out of your letter that you must act upon ASAP? So action items. So the worksheet 20, which is going to help you harmonize some of this stuff, and then also with all of this additional data, you must be getting clearer and clearer about what your mission entails. So start writing down a sentence or two explaining what you think you should be dedicating your life to. Don't worry about the how just yet or how you make money from it. All that comes later. The most important thing right now is the kind of the mission. What cause keeps crossing your mind and keeps cropping up through the exercises? So start just jotting that stuff down, and then use worksheet 20 to kind of help you. So that's it for this one. I'm just getting on this. God is all powerful, and He has endowed everything with the potential to become what it is meant to be. And so that's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.